Hey guys, I'm Marcus S., the Trash Panda Animator, and roughly a year ago, or 365 days ago if you want to be that guy, you guys changed my life. Because a year ago, Madtown was officially starting. Episode 2 had just released, character arcs were arcing, villains were being villainous, love triangles were triangulating, and I was scared out of my fucking mind. Because up to that point, I didn't know what to expect. But I braced myself for the worst. I knew, based off the character that was in the thumbnail for episode 2, that I was gonna get hate. And that's all I expected. I expected no one to actually watch my silly little show, or like the characters, or the jokes, or the story, and I expected them to just hate it all, and that I would be bullied off the internet. Because, you see, Madtown started off back in the early 2010s as just a crappy little show I did with my friends in high school as a joke. It wasn't meant to be anything. It was just about a guy named Mark who had a roommate that was the Grim Reaper that got fired from being the Grim Reaper, and they would just go on different adventures, and every other monster was voiced by a friend of mine, and it was never meant to be anything. That's why after, I got out of school, I stopped doing that. I wanted to go into film and live action stuff, and that never panned out. Tried to go into video game making, and ironically, I didn't have the patience for it, which is weird considering, I had the patience to write and animate, but I ain't got the patience to program. Anyway, yeah, I just stopped being creative after a while. And eventually, one day, I was at the mall just, messaging a friend of mine, Almighty Vinvin, and we were messing around. And originally, in the old Madtown, she had voiced that version of Victoria, which, just for those curious, Victoria was Mark's daughter in the original. And she was joking around, we were talking about like newer indie projects coming up that we were excited for and all that. And she basically unintentionally dared me. Like, she didn't say, oh, I dare you to remake Madtown or any of that. But the way she was talking about it, I took as a dare, I guess. Or at least that's what I like to think, because I don't remember how this conversation went, but I know that she said something along the lines of, could you imagine if you remade Madtown with an actual plot? And that got the ball rolling for me creatively. I started writing, different story ideas. I came up originally with, the story of Mark summoning Charlie, to get Heather to like him and all that. But in that version, Maxine was the only villain, and she was the leader of this cult, and she was a dragon, but this dragon wasn't fully powered yet. There was like a physical dragon body in another realm, and she needed this cult to kill Mark, that way she could come forth to the world and be full powered and kill everybody. But I didn't like that, and I also didn't like the fact that dragons are fucking hard to animate. Jesus Christ. So yeah, that idea got scrapped, and then eventually I started taking inspiration from one of my favorite animes, Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood, and I wanted to do something with the deadly sins. And then I started watching the show Lucifer, and I wanted to include Lucifer. I've seen Hell of a Boss and Has Been Hotel, and I wanted to do stories with Hellhounds and the Hell Hierarchy, and that, obviously got worked into it. Then I got inspired by a couple of artists on Twitter, one named McBoosh and the other just named Cake Inferno. They kind of inspired me to go, okay, well, what if one of the love interests was a demon who's naturally bigger and doesn't fit in with normal people and doesn't fit in with her own people, and she's wanting to be understood, and that could be her whole angle on it. It's just like, main character accepts her for who she is rather than what she is. He doesn't care that she's bigger or monstrous. He just thinks, oh cool, fluffy wolf girl, I want to go and hang out with that person. And then we got what we have now. And I was scared of that. I still partially am scared of it, because I didn't know how you guys were going to take it. Again, I expected the worst. And that first day after I uploaded episode 2, I turned off notifications for 24 hours, if not 48, maybe even 72. I don't remember. I know it was a while. But I turned off notifications on YouTube, Twitter, everything. I was expecting people to hate it, people to say, hey, it's obvious you're a good comedy writer, but stick to comedy, don't do a love story, or hey, don't write serious shit, it's corny and cheesy, and And again, I don't know if I mentioned this earlier, but I'd never been to film school. I'd never been to animation class. I'd never been to a writing class or theater. So I didn't know what I was doing. I was only going off the way I seen other people do it in tutorials and so forth. So, again, I was expecting the worst. And surprisingly, when I did go back to check notifications, I did see some hate, and I still do. But I've seen people like it. I've seen people commenting about what their favorite parts were, who their favorite characters are so far. And I'm not gonna lie, it made me giddy and excited. Because, you know, you look at the credits for this show, 9 times out of 10, when there's not that one-off occasion when I get, you know, another animator to do a sequence for me, and, you know, and or do additional writing, it's mostly me writing, directing, and animating this show. So it's mostly my world and my creation. And to see people actually like it and take time out of their day to watch my silly little show compared to anything else on YouTube or Newgrounds, it meant a lot, and it still does mean a lot. And so obviously it continued to where it is now. We've had many other episodes, many other shorts, and there's still more to come. But I know I've had my ups and downs this past year. However, regardless of all that, I wouldn't be where I am now, happy to do this project, without any of you, without my amazing fans, supporters, my cast and crew, my family, my partner. Thanks to all of you, this project, this show, this silly little cartoon on the internet is where it is now. So, from the bottom of my heart, I want you all to know that I love you all so much, and it means the world to me that you guys like this show, and that you're interested in where the story goes, where the characters will end up, and all that. And I can't say if there will be a season 2. I want to see where I'm mentally at when season 1's done, and see if the cast and crew want to do it, and see if you guys want to see it, and then we'll go from there. I can't wait for you guys to see how this first little story arc goes, and hopefully I can't wait for you guys to see where it goes on from there. But thank you all so much for watching, and I hope that you guys have a great day, a great rest of your week. And this is Marcus S., the Trash Panda Animator, saying thank you all, and have a good day. Also, to commemorate the 1-year anniversary, I had my friend Dani on Twitter make this picture, and it came out super fucking awesome. Go check them out. They're a great artist, and I've been a fan of their work for a while. Part of their artwork's actually what inspired Maxine's design. Fun fact, so there is that. And yeah,